time you spent on this record. I think it was a year and a half working in the studio.
We're still working. Like, yeah. I got my sunglasses on because my eyes look really tired because, like, Brad and I have been up.
We were at mastering last night, and it was like 3 a.m, and Mike was sleeping on the couch, and he kind of like nodded up, and I said, dude, I think you should go home. Like, we have press tomorrow. He's like, I have to listen to the latest mastered version.
We all really enjoyed the process of making the record. It was a great experience. There were times where we were like, you know, near the end, where it was just like, okay, like I thought we were done, you know. Especially for me, like I kept getting like, wow. Fucking Harleys, dude. Choppers were so like 2 years ago, man. I can get over it, dude.
You don't work a year and a half on anything and then throw it together at the last minute. Like you know, at this point, we need to like make sure every little thing is in place, and I mean, it's just because we care so much about the record.
Yeah, it definitely is a great luxury to be able to be in a recording studio for over a year, pretty much. So we started writing the actual record in the Korn studio, which we rented from Korn. They have a studio in Hollywood, and we started just writing some of the first songs in that studio. And in the past, you know, we did most of the writing and pre-production outside of the studio. We never really felt the need to go into the studio until we really knew exactly what we were going to do. But part of wanting to do something completely different on this record, part of that process was going into the studio really early and starting to experiment with a lot of different types of instruments and just changing everything about how we write music together.
There was a quote that was running around the internet that you guys said that you wanted to kind of kill nu metal. Is that something you started out to do from the get-go, or something that just happened during the process of making the record?
We've never seen ourselves as a part of any like movement or club. We've always kind of just tried to be who we are.
Anything that to us felt like sounded nu metal could not exist at all. We didn't really feel comfortable being placed in that kind of niche anyways, and considering that, you know, I mean, I don't want to like, maybe this might piss people off, but like, you know, considering that there's a lot of bands that are like lumped into that style that kind of like have taken some of our key sounds or whatever that kind of like we had on Hybrid Theory, like it seemed like it was becoming too easy for that style to be copied and like replaced and like regurgitated, and like we didn't want that anymore. So let mercy come and wash away
the title of this record. It could be interpreted in a very dark way, you know, as impeding doom, apocalypse is upon us.
Yes.
Yes. But
the album title, you know, you can read that in many different ways. Like, you read it as something very heavy and apocalyptic, whereas like when I heard it, before I knew, you know, I didn't need to know any background about it. When I heard it, I thought that it felt like death and rebirth. It felt like something is ending and something else is beginning. You know, night is fallen, morning is coming.
Minutes to Midnight, you know, was taken from the Doomsday Clock, and so like, you know, I was watching a special on History Channel about you know, the inception of the Doomsday Clock and what it meant and how it's been moved around since, you know, 1949 or whatever the year it was when it was invented or brought out. And so like throughout this show, like they kept saying, you know, like in this date, you know, the Doomsday Clock was moved to so-and-so minutes to midnight, and they kept saying this over and over again, like throughout the whole show. And I was like, the idea that midnight is, you know, is something really important, and like counting down to that time, there's like this anticipation and there's build-up, you know, what is it going to be, you know, like what's going to be the outcome. And like we're kind of at that place musically with the band, and you know, we're kind of like launching the new era of Linkin Park, and like, you know, really showing what we're capable of doing, and like, you know, we're counting down to midnight, you know, and that's kind of like the vibe of the title, and you know, you can apply it to all sorts of different things. You know,
when you see the video for our first video for the album, which is called first song What I've Done, the imagery in the video, you can take it however you want to take it. Like there's there's band performance and there's stock imagery of some historic events, environmental images, and you can take it as, you know, very dark and very like almost like cynical, or you can look at it and be like, yeah, we have, you know, the powers on our hands to create or destroy, you know, and everybody who watches it feels a little bit differently. They pick up on different imagery, so it's always interesting to see what a person reads when they hear the lyrics, album title, see the video.
How important is the visual side of Linkin Park? Because you also have the LPTV, of course, where you show little bits and pieces of what you are behind the scenes. What role does that play in Linkin Park?
Well, the visual side of things is very, very important, and we've always, I mean, our videos in the past, I think, have always, I mean, Joe, our DJ, has been really involved in helping us present that visual, and also Mike and Joe actually met at Art Center, and they were going to art school together. So it's great to have two guys in the band that know the band in a way that nobody from the outside can really know, and they're able to take that and display that artistically and visually through what they do. And Joe has always done an amazing job directing videos, and he just directed the new video for What I've Done, and I think he did, you know, he did an incredible job, and I'm so impressed with his work, and he's grown so much as a director. And Mike and him worked on the album art.
Co-produced this record with Rick Rubin. This guy has always had one foot in the world of hip-hop, the other one in the harder music. Did that make him the ideal candidate to work on this record?
I think that would play a large part in it, but it's also the fact that Rick, in the past, you know, I don't know how long this has been happening, but if you notice the stuff he's been producing lately, it's been very, he's into a lot of different things. You know, it used to be more just rock and hip hop, and nowadays it's a lot of different types of music. And I mean, including, you know, Johnny Cash and Justin Timberlake and Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know, and then of course the stuff he's done with like Jay-Z and whatnot. He's doing the new Metallica record, you know. I think all of those things. Can I say that? I hope I can say that. I think that's common knowledge.
I think the aspect of Rick that speaks volumes and like we related to more or sought out of him was his ability to pull great performances out of the artists he's working with, regardless of whether it's hip hop or, you know, rock or country or whatever. You know, like even the hip hop records he worked on, none of them sounded the same, none of them even felt the same, but the performances were amazing. And same goes with all the rest of his records. So like that's really what had drawn us to Rick Rubin in the first place.
Après la pause, la suite de notre entretien avec Linkin Park.
I like writing stuff about just real life emotion, just stuff that happens to people every day.
When it comes to writing lyrics and stuff, it's like, what do we talk about and how do we do it in a way that doesn't make us sound like a whiny celebrity?
The show is always the best part of the day, no matter how rough of a day you have. When you get out there with the fans and play the music that you wrote, you love to play, it's the best feeling.
From the first record onto this one, how has the group dynamic evolved? Do you have like more specific roles now, or does it change all the time? Are you in a very different place now?
Well, I think that we definitely have all had a certain role in the band, and besides the fact that we make music together and write music together, everybody in the band has always, every element of what we do, there's always somebody in the band that's involved in it. If it has to do with art direction, making videos, the business side of things, our fan club, the contact we have with our fans, every aspect of that somebody is always involved. And I think that throughout the records we've made together and the time we've spent together on the road, we've really grown closer as friends. And our relation has grown in making music together, doing business together. But when we're home now, we tend to hang out with each other more often than we did in the past, which is really, I think, unusual for a lot of bands because like the more time you spend together, the more friction happens and people kind of go their own ways, and it's been the opposite for us.
Nobody really knows how or why he works so hard. It seems like he's never got time because he writes every note and he writes every line, and I've seen him at work when that light goes on in his mind. It's like
The fact that a lot of you guys have like different side projects outside of Linkin Park, you with Fort Minor, what does that bring when you come back as a group, as a unit? Do you take away something from your side projects, or does it allow you to blow off steam in different directions? What purpose do these side projects serve?
It's probably a little bit of each of the things you said. I know when I did the Fort Minor project, like a lot of it was getting back to my roots and not only hip hop, but like getting back to like the essentials of how you make a song and what's exciting about that, Because if you think, have you ever played an instrument?
Terribly, yeah, but drums, yeah.
You play drums. And when you first played the drums, you sat down and you just like hit the drums to like enjoy the sound of the drums. You know what I mean? Like when you first get a guitar, you don't know what you're playing, you don't know how to play it, but you just kind of like turn up the distortion and you like play notes and just enjoy how it sounds. Because you don't have any preconceived idea about how to use that instrument, like what's proper. And so I tried to get back in touch with that on Fort Minor. And I also tried to bring that with me into the Linkin Park album because it can make an album just so much fun to do when you're just enjoying the sound you're making. It's not like there are rules about how to make a song. It's like, no, I'm just making stuff that sounds cool and that I think is moving.
I think it keeps the creative juices flowing and allows you to kind of go out and try things that that you just want to do on your own. Like there is like something to be said about the democracy of Linkin Park and like how it works, but like it's important for me to like be able to go out and like do something on my own and feel good about it, and not necessarily get Rob's approval, and taking that out, and doing it with different people and learning what they like and how they work, and it's all a learning process.
What's this shit? Nasal spray. Bitch. What? Nasal spray. It's got epinephrine in it. It'll get you tweaked, man.
It's great that we have the support that we have and that we're allowed to go do those things because we all have trust with each other that, whatever I'm doing on the side or whatever Mike's doing on the side or whatever Rob's doing on his own, like isn't gonna distract us from, the real passion that we have, which is being in Linkin Park and being a part of this this band that we love and the relationships that we have with each other.
Après la pause, la suite de notre entrevue avec Linkin Park.
One Step Closer, we finished every show with One Step Closer. And I was like, ah. And I hated that song anyways. I didn't even want that song on the record. It was like fun, but it wasn't like this killer song in my head that I wanted to play forever. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to play that song for the rest of my career. You know what I mean? That sucks to me. But the kids love it, man. The fans love it. And so that makes me love the song.
Music our whole lives, and it's something that we've always loved to do. And I mean, both Mike and I started playing violin when I was probably 6 or 7, and I know for Brad as well, it was always something where we could, just growing up and with whatever was going on, it was a place where we could go to kind of vent our frustrations and do things creatively and have a positive outlet for that. And even now, for us, it continues to be that. I mean, just being able to play music with a group of guys that are great friends of yours is awesome. I couldn't ask for anything better.
If you could be any other Linkin Park member for a day, which one would it be and why?
Wow, that's a tough one. I think I want to be Dave. I think I want to be Phoenix. Because Phoenix gets to chill.
That guy knows how to kick back. He's able to just turn on the relaxation factor and do it. And that's actually what makes him such a good part of the group, to round everybody out, because he'll bring that into the thing. So, like, when everybody's stressed out, Dave will just, like, kind of joke around with you, and, like, you go, okay, I'm being ridiculous.
I don't know how this guy does what he does. You know, like, I could play guitar, I could play piano, I can rap if I have to. Not very well, but I can. You know, I could wickety on the ones and twos, but I cannot fucking play drums for the life of me, dude. And it's always bewildered me. Like, I can kind of keep a beat. I've gotten decent. You know, like I could never play in a band, but like I can get on and go like you do or whatever. I want to be this dude because he goes crazy back there, and I don't know how. I want to know what that's like to be able to move like all different parts of your body at different times. It's like makes no sense to me. I can barely walk, you know, let alone play drums.
Who would you be?
I'd probably be Rob because people confuse us as it is. So it wouldn't be much of a stretch.
It'd be the easiest transition.
Kind of similarly to what Chester just said, I can't sing for the life of me. And I've tried to, you know, I sing in the shower or whatever. But, you know, I would love to be able to sing, you know. And I've tried it, and it's not going to happen. So if I had an opportunity to be able to be Chester for a day, it would be great to be able to stand up on stage and just, even for my own pleasure, just to sing something and be on key.
If you had to choose one song that best represents this record, because it's so diverse, which one would you choose?
I'll probably want to go with The Little Things Give You Away, the last song on the record. It's not that it sounds like everything else on the record. In fact, it doesn't. I think it has this very unique sound for us and a unique sound for the record. And it is last on the record for a reason. I think a lot of us think that it's probably one of it's like the best we can do at this point. It's like one of the best songs we've ever written.
I would throw people a curveball and just go with my favorite track on the record. I would choose The Little Things Give You Away. And I think it's something that is so different than anything we've ever done before. It's like, we've never done a 6.5-minute song, and this song really like takes the listener away on a journey. And I know every time I hear it, I cannot believe that this is a Linkin Park song and that we wrote something like this.
I would say What I've Done, which is our first single off the record, and it's actually the last song that we wrote. We thought we were done writing the record, and we made a very ambitious commitment to try to write one more song, and it actually wound up coming to us really quickly and really easily. I think because we had done so much experimentation over such a long period of time that we had all those kind of ideas at our fingertips, and also lyrically I think it encapsulates not only our experience in making this record, but kind of where we're at as a band.
And also because Brad and I, like professional athletes, are pressure performers.
And I think that's a great representation of like how you can, you know, we've got all the elements of Linkin Park there, but it's given to you in such a different way. You know, there are other songs on the record that I feel like are my favorite, but I think that as far as like a representation of the change, you know, if you could just go like, here's this one song, that's what you expect. It's going to throw you off, and I feel like that's the one that I'd choose.
What would be the last thing you'd want to do minutes before midnight?
Wow, I don't know. Somebody asked me earlier, what if I was to listen to a song, what song would it be? And I didn't even think I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about it. The first song that came to my head was Lionel Richie, All Night Long. Is that bizarre? Like, why did that pop into my head? But for some reason, like, if it was gonna end right now, that's the song I would want playing. It's very strange, but that's what it is.
Leave dancing. No, that's good. If you really had a few minutes to midnight, what would be the last thing you'd want to do on this earth?
Well, I definitely want to be with my family, you know. My kids are, you know, the most important thing to me, and I'd want to be with them and make everybody feel as safe as possible, and, you know, go out with a bang, I guess.
I don't really like to think about that, but if you forced me to think about it, I would hope that, you know, I would probably get a big cheeseburger and enjoy it with some French fries and a Coke. And I'd want to be with, like, you know, just be right in that moment and just enjoy I would think I would try and overload my senses, like taste, and put on some really good music and be with the people I love, and go out with a bang.
What would you do with your last minutes on Earth?
I would be here talking with you guys, doing an interview for Musique Plus.
Flattery will get you nowhere, but thanks for saying that.